I wanted to be at Texas State. I chose to be at Texas State. I'm from Texas. That was important to me. I always knew if the right guy got this job, you better watch out.
You better watch out. This is Win Now or Get Bent, episode 176. If you don't already know, I'm Kev Chardello, coming to you on Thursday, October 24th. And woof, that was a brutal watch. Tough game for the Bobcats, losing to the Old Dominion Monarchs 24-14 in Norfolk, Virginia on Saturday. That was not fun to watch. Another 0 for the Bobcats in the Sun Belt. They're now 0-1 against the Old Dominion Monarchs all time. So you can add that one to the list. That was the first game of that series. Bobcats were favored by 2 touchdowns, and they only mustered 2 touchdowns. Not a great performance. We'll talk about that. We'll pepper in some positivity. I won't make it all negative. There were some glimmers of hope. It wasn't all bad, but most of it was bad. But we'll give it a nice full-formed analysis in this episode. But before we get there, this episode is brought to you by First Lockhart National Bank. As the largest financial institution headquartered in Caldwell County, First Lockhart National Bank expanded to San Marcos in 2018 and opened a state-of-the-art branch on Hunter Road in 2020. For the past 6 years, FLNB has provided a wide range of financial services that have significantly improved the quality of life for the San Marcos community and beyond. Whether you need personal or business checking accounts, business loans, or home mortgages, they've got you covered. Plus, they offer innovative services like video banking, business banking, and a top-of-the-line mobile banking app. FLNB is also a huge supporter of Tech State football, standing out as one of the largest initial investors in NIL deals for Bobcats players. Be sure to follow them on X at First Lockhart and on Instagram at First Lockhart. Shout out to Gil Hodges, Senior Vice President at FLNB in MLS, number 2475765, a proud Tech State grad and a diehard fan. We are thrilled to be partnering with Gil and FLNB all season long. You can find them at 2507 Hunter Road. That's 2507 Hunter Road, or give them a call at 512-504-7422. Again, that's 512-504-7422. First Lockhart National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions may vary. Hey, Bobcat Nation. Looking for your next real estate move? McNabb and Company Real Estate Services has been proudly Bobcat owned and operated for over 15 years. They're your go-to team for buying, selling, investing, and managing properties and everything else in between. Whether you're a fan or an alum, they've got the local expertise and full service support you need. Call them today at 512-667-9129. Again, that's 512-667-9129, or visit them at mcnabbandco.com. That's MCNABB. McNabbandco.com. McNabb and Company, where Bobcats find their home. Give them a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and X at McNabb & Co. Thank you to Monica Katz, a day one Bobcat supporter. Now she's partnering with us this season. Check them out. That's McNabbandco.com. MCNABB, McNabbandco.com. Had a really good time with the folks over at McNabb at the watch party for the game on Saturday at Zelix. Bunch of Bobcats gathered up at Zelix Ice House to watch the game. It's a good crowd. It's nice. I could definitely get used to being in a bar and seeing a bunch of Bobcats, seeing a lot of maroon and gold sitting around with every screen having Texas State on it. That was quite the sight to see. I got to hang with Seth Katz, who owns Zelix as well, married to Monica at McNabb. We got to meet Jude Prather. He's on the city council. Nice to meet a politician. Don't meet a lot of those in my line of work, covering sports. Our guy Hunter Schuler and his wife Charlotte. Hunter wasn't wearing the right colors. We won't talk about that, but his wife was. So, better half situation there. Shout out to Hunter. It was good to sit with him and talk. But yeah, me and the Webb went out there. The wizard, Zachary Webb, the Webb. We went out there and he hustled me in some pool. Said he wasn't any good at pool. And then he beat me 2 games to 1. He lied to me, got hustled. You got to watch out for that guy. It's a real shark, that Zachary Webb. But that was a great time checking out that watch party. That's something they're going to be doing, some watch parties at Zelix. We're going to be doing an episode at Zelix as well coming up real soon. So look out for that one. We'll be teaming up over there. Lots of fun stuff. Maybe we'll get some of you guys to come out to a watch party or something like that going on in the future. It was great atmosphere. It was great to sit there and enjoy the game. in a bar. It's always weird to watch the games at home. It was even weirder to watch at a bar. I can't remember I did that one other time for a Texas State game, and I think it might have been the season opener in 2017. There was some watch party at Craft House that I went to, and I left by halftime just because I couldn't get a good analysis of the game. I didn't want to do that this time, even though the broadcast wasn't the best. There wasn't anything, it wasn't the TVs or anything. That just wasn't the best broadcast, and especially when the TV's kind of up and raised and far away, it was hard to get a full analysis. Had to come home and do it. But even when I came home, I watched the replay. The jerseys are way too close. That was it should have known. It felt off right away with all of that. It was like, wait, which one's the Bobcats? Why can't I had to really squint. Like, oh, okay, that's a light blue and then white over there. Okay. It was a bad sign. And and usually when I'm covering a game, I don't have a beer in my hand or anything. This one, I had a beer in my hand and I was like, this is strange. This is a strange feeling. This is a feeling that most of you, when you watch a game, you have a beer, but for me, it's like, I'm on the clock. That it would have felt out of place at a watch party at a bar to not have one. And then what happened in the first half, I was like, yeah, everything about this was funky, including this game. This game ended up that way. How it went, 24-14, as I said at the top, lost Old Dominion. I'm sure most of you saw it. Maybe you got to enjoy your Saturday. You went to a pumpkin patch or something and you missed it. This would have been a good one to miss, but we'll go over it just in case that happened. 24-14, as I said, Bobcats never led in the game, down 7-0 after the first quarter, 14-0 at halftime, 14-7 after the third quarter, and then 24-14 final. First half possessions. This was unprecedented in the GJ Kinney era, what I'm about to break down for you. First half possessions for Texas State in this game. Punt, interception, punt, half. And now the half, it was 4th and 5, so they probably would have punted there as well. But that's 4 punts and an interception, and then time running out in the first half. That was usually this is a team that comes out and they punch them right in the mouth, and they get some points on the board. Didn't happen. I knew it was a tough scene at that one. At the same time, I'm like, okay, 14-0, not insurmountable, but with how lackluster the offense looked, it just wasn't going to happen. So in the first half, for Old Dominion, 7 points off an interception, first of 2 for Jordan McLeod, 2 interception game for Jordan McLeod. He threw a pick. They went on a 5-play, 18-yard drive before scoring. And then another 7 points after the third punt for the Bobcats, 11 plays, 59-yard drive. It's hard to hang a lot of this on the defense. They obviously weren't perfect, but a lot of this was scheme on scheme. What ODU drew up something that Texas State was not ready for, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about this second half. Texas State received the kickoff. They went 10 plays, 37 yards. First drive that went 10 plays. None of those drives that they punted on went over 10 plays in that first half. But then they ended up punting on that, a 10-play drive that ends in a punt. It was just like, this is not looking great. It's feeling a lot like that Arkansas State game last year, where it was just not in the cards from the jump. Bobcats finally scored halfway through the second quarter, making it 14-7. I didn't even write down what the score was. I guess I could. I'm sure I have that right here. That touchdown for the Bobcats in the third quarter. Oh no, it was a oh no, this is that Louisiana game. No, I'm looking at a different game. Yeah, I honestly, I don't have the score for you. And it was a touchdown pass. Jordan McLeod, he threw a touchdown pass. That's how much disdain I had for this offense, this game. I'm not even like, yeah, you guys scored, but fine, whatever. But let's keep it going. So now it's 14-7. Bobcats finally get on the board. They put this 10-play drive together. And then a fumble recovery by Khalil Alexander, a force out by Caleb Culp, getting some of that momentum back, gives the Bobcats the ball at the 50. They take it all the way down to the 17 before this drive stalls. And then Mason Shipley missed a 34-yarder. 34-yarder. I think this is his third miss in the 30s. He was like a 36-yard miss. Obviously, this 34-yard miss, which is strange. This guy hit a 60-yarder against Sam Houston, and later in the game missed a 36-yarder. And then this was the first of 2 misses, and we'll get to the second one. But that could have made it 14-10. Again, it's 14-7. Bobcats defense goes out there, force a punt from Old Dominion, get the ball back, 7 plays, 47 yards. The drive bleeds into the fourth quarter, and then Shipley misses again from 53. 53, it's a little more understandable. It's didn't have the distance, but he wasn't close. He wasn't close on that one. So something there. We've seen him do it. We've seen him make it, but there's something there. I imagine mentally. I know before that 34 yarder, I know there was some they were reviewing a forward pass. I should have made a note about that with McLeod. So maybe that added some extra to that kick, but no excuse really. There's no good excuse for it. But yeah, it felt like all the momentum was completely sapped after that. It was like, okay, there's two opportunities. They could have made this a 1-point game at this point, and now it's still a 7-point game. ODU goes on a 10-play, 49-yard drive, took 4 minutes off the clock, hit a field goal, make it 17-7. Bobcats not going away. Finally put together a decent offensive drive. What is it? 11 plays, 71 yards. Ended on a 24-yard touchdown pass to Bo Sparks. Okay, so the touchdown they had earlier, that was the McLeod run. He ran one in, he threw one, but then he also had 2 picks. Yeah, 24-yard touchdown pass to Bo Sparks, 17-14, with 5 minutes left. Still in this game. Still in this game. But Old Dominion gets the ball, and they go on an 8-play, 75-yard drive, sapped a bunch of time off the clock, ended on a 28-yard touchdown run by Colton Joseph, who I didn't even make a note of his stats, but he ran all over the place. I know he had over 100 yards rushing. We'll talk about Colton Joseph. They had Colton Joseph looking like Lamar Jackson out there. And then Jordan McLeod, Bobcats get the ball back, minute left, throws an interception. Ball game. Game ends. 24-14 loss. I mentioned it somewhat earlier. The main thing was they were out schemed on offense. There's the missed field goals, sure. There's the turnovers, okay. But they were out schemed. And this was in the first quarter when it was not looking great. This was another good thing about the watch parties. I was sitting next to our great producer, Zachary Webb, and I'm like, man, this offense, what is going on? It's like after like the second or third punt. I was like, what's going on? And Zach, he says, look at the defense. They're doing 3 high safeties before the snap. As soon as the ball snapped, they switched to cover 1, cover 2. They're disguising these packages. They're almost making them, they're lulling them into a false sense of like, hey, there's something here underneath, and then boom, they take it away. And it blew their mind, I guess. I mean, they didn't expect the disguised packages. They weren't prepared for that going into the game. And it really affected the pass game. I mean, I've never seen McLeod hold that ball so long in the first few games of the season, first 6 games of the season. He rarely held the ball as long as he did, trying to run around, make something happen. But it's because where he thought he was going to put the ball, it was taken away. They'd make it seem like it was open before the snap, and then they'd take it away. They started to pick up on it in the second half, but it was almost too little, too late for those adjustments. They have to make those adjustments quicker. That was probably my biggest takeaway from this one was Old Dominion. They drew up a scheme. They watched a lot of film on this Texas State team, and they drew up a scheme that they thought would be effective against this offense, and it was very effective. Ricky Rain, hardly the head coach at Old Dominion, he's hardly the most successful coach in the Sun Belt, but he has experience, and he showed off that experience. It's why it reminded me a lot of that Arkansas State game last year, that 77-31 beatdown. We talked a lot about it before the Arkansas State game last week. A loss that they were able to kind of amend with that win. But this was, and obviously this wasn't like a 30-point loss. It was a double-digit loss to a team that you were favored to win by double digits. So in that sense, it doesn't feel great, but you have to take your hat off to the game plan that they came up with, because it rocked this Texas State offense. They couldn't get anything going. I mean, all punts and picks in the first half. That's incredible. I hadn't seen that happen to this Texas State team under G.J. Kinney. It was just sloppy. They made them look like a Withers team. Everett Withers. That's when I was watching it, the grainy broadcast and all of it. That was not a G.J. Kinney era game. But I mean, it was a great game plan, especially defensively. I mean, for Old Dominion, They really disguised those packages and it threw them for a loop. But let's go through it. Let's go through more so than just scheme on things that didn't go well for the Bobcats. But then we'll get to positives, I promise. Just hang in there. 3 for 13 on third down is insane. That's what happened. 3 for 13 on third down. Need some more bailout plays. I won't harp on the tight end stuff, but just something where it's going wrong and you have a quick throw, a quick dump off to somebody. Get some of these running backs involved. You have one back there blocking and the blocking's not working, so they peel out for a quick pass. I thought we'd see a little bit more of that. The misses, the Shipley misses, the field goal misses are a head scratch because, like I said, he's made some kicks that were much tougher than that. I like that they went for the points instead of trying to go for it. Even though they went 3 for 13 on third down, you got to draw plays that'll get you to the sticks, or that'll have you bailout plays on the earlier downs, the first and second downs, to make third down more manageable. But I still like that they didn't go for it a ton on fourth down. I don't think that would have saved them here. I thought Mason was automatic. I would have gone for the points there too in the moments that they went for the points, and it didn't work out. McLeod came back to earth. They showed that so he can be out schemed. He can be tricked a little bit, if you will, where you can do stuff pre-snap to throw him off his game, and he was definitely thrown off his game in this one. Those two picks, the Bobcats, they're losing that turnover battle in the season, 12-9, despite being a 4-3 team, 2-1 in the Sun Belt, still a decent record. They're losing that turnover battle, 12-9. Just 3 interceptions on defense to six fumble recoveries. Very opportunistic with the fumble recoveries defensively for the Bobcats, but they turn it over just as much. It's 7 picks, 5 fumbles for this offense. Running QBs kill this defense. That's the biggest thing. If I'm harping on the defense at all, because really 24 points should win the game. 24 points should win the game. They held ODU to 24. That should be enough for this offense. The offense should be able to outscore that. So I'm not completely mad at defense. They fell apart towards the end. They let them have that long drive. The Bobcats scored, and they made it a close game. And they were able to pull it away. It was that was on the defense, but these running quarterbacks, they kill this team. They kill this team. Anytime they've lost Sam Houston, running quarterback. Arizona State, running quarterback. Old Dominion, running quarterback. Colton Joseph. Let's look up, see what Colton Joseph, I know he had over 100 yards. Let's see this one. We'll start with his passing. 15 for 28 passing, 130 yards. No interceptions, no touchdowns, 1 sack. Not sacked enough. Running the ball, though, 16 rushes, 111 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns by the quarterback. It was his first 100-yard game of the season. He had 98 yards in the game before. But this was his best game running the ball. Like, it's not like, oh, this is a guy who comes out and gets 100 yards every week. No, not at all. They got him with that one. At this point, it's on linebackers. I mean, this defensive line, the pass rush is fun. They get back there, but if they don't get that quarterback, there's a lot of lanes past them. That should be the department where the linebackers come up and step in on them, or I don't know if you need a spy. If you know there's a quarterback that's gonna want to get loose, you spy him. You do something to contain that. But it seemed like they needed a first down. Boom. There he goes. There goes Colton Joseph. Had him looking great. Yeah, running quarterbacks are a big detriment for this team, because even as a total 192 yards rushing for Old Dominion on 37 runs. I mean, there was nobody. They had one running back who's at 53 yards. It was all the quarterback, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that happen, especially when you got some other quarterbacks who can move coming up. So it's something they've got to lock in. They've got to lock in adjustments, quicker adjustments, especially if you end a first quarter with no points, with how everything with this offense looks. It seems like they end with at least a touchdown. With how this offense works, that's how it gets lubricated. It's how it gets things moving. You end it with no points. You got to go to that drawing board. You got to see what's going on. And I mean, we have to remember here that Mac Leftwich is the one who calls the plays. He's on the sideline watching which is very interesting. Usually, the offensive coordinator, they're up bird's eye view up in a press box area where they can kind of see everything. But he's on the sideline because he likes to talk to his players and be on the ground level with everything. But he has to, and he has coaches he relies on who are up in the press box or up in the box that are relaying him information. They got to relay that quicker and make adjustments, where it's a disguise. I mean, if they want to show you three high safeties, make them prove it. Cole Wilson, all the way down. Jaden Williams, make them just run right past them, hit them deep. Like, you guys really running three? Or you moving them up when the ball snapped? But it was a good scheme, and it was Arkansas State game. That didn't wash the season. That was a terrible loss. That was a real bad one last year. It didn't wash the season. They ended up winning another game and then winning a bowl game. So they can recover from this one. This was one. It's different from the Sam Houston one where I was a little more vitriol, I was a little more angry because they let it go. This one they didn't have it from the jump. It wasn't happening. What happened in that day? They sure were they ill prepared? Yeah. After another road game, they're not prepared on a road game. Yeah, they weren't prepared for what they saw. But I feel like if you don't leave this learning about Jordan McLeod and what they can do to kind of take him out of his rhythm, or what they can do to take you out of your rhythm on a play calling stance, or how you need to buckle down and get after these running quarterbacks, spy them, do something with these linebackers to prevent these quarterbacks from doing so much damage with their legs. Um, and I don't know, get Mason Shipley some meditation. We need to bring him back to center. Something with Mason Shipley. There is a lot that could be learned from that one. This was it was an ugly game. It was not fun to watch. Thankfully, it was very quick. It was like 3 hours. I was like, wow. Usually the GJ Kinney era, these games will go over 4 hours. So at least it was a quick death, if you will. But they you can't leave this one without taking something away from it, because I don't think that wasn't this team. That wasn't what this team was. This team, it's more of the 2 weeks before we saw against Arkansas State and Troy. This was another reminder. I hope I'm not harping on this too much. These coaches are young. They're young. And when you got a Ricky Ray, and he's been around the block a few times, I think GJ Kinney, when it's all said and done, when you look at their careers, he's going to have the better career. But that, you can't take that away. It's just like Butch Jones with Arkansas State. Been around the block. Guy knows what he's doing. And a lot of the experience outdid talent in that one. That's how I felt about that game. But not a lost season at all. Louisiana coming up, tough opponent coming up. Oh yeah, we got to talk about what I liked. We can't be all negative, right? I made sure I was pretty negative episode 172. And I don't want to be that way. I'm not trying to. I can't be the cheerleader pod. I can't be rah rah, here we go, blind loyalty, moral victories. No, it's not. None of that's in my vocabulary. But still, still want to. I believe in positive reinforcement, not all the time. I believe in discipline as well. Don't let the hair fool you. What I liked, Marty getting loose. Marty got loose. 2 games in a row, Marty getting loose. It looked good. It was let's look up his stats. I have them right here. 139 yards rushing, 5.6 yards per carry, no touchdowns. Can we get this man some touchdowns? He's got 2 on the year. Let's get him a touchdown. Yeah, I liked that. I liked what I've seen. It's really been the last 3 games, what they've been doing with the blocking, pulling guards, pulling tackles, really moving around, getting these big bodies moving. 40 rushes to 33 passes. This is the second week in a row. It was interesting because before I was complaining the other way, where I was like, they need to run the ball more, get it close to 50-50. And now it's out of balance towards the rush. I will say 40 to 33. That's probably where that's not too bad. That's probably where I like it as well. But yeah, 186 yards rushing for the Bobcats offense. More yards rushing than passing. Which is another crazy deal, is they outgained right? Do I have that right? I didn't write that down, but they outgained this team, right? Total offense, 359 for Texas State to 322 for Old Dominion. So they outgained this team. They had more plays, 73 to 65. They had more first downs, 23 to 18. The penalties, not a lot of penalties. I really appreciated that. Just 3 penalties. This Bobcats still lead the Sun Belt in penalties after having back-to-back weeks of doing a good job in that department. And even having another game where they did a really good job in that department. But that's how heavy those times we were harping on the penalties. That's how many they were having. But they've done a great job at cleaning that up, cleaning up the discipline there. Time of possession. I know they had that too. Where's that one? Sorry, I opened up the stats and now I'm locked in. I feel like that's my life. I open up a box score and I look up and it's 2 hours later. 31 minutes to 28 minutes for the time of possession. Appreciated that. 1 for 1 on fourth down. I didn't remember that they had a fourth down conversion. So they did convert one of those on fourth down. I wonder if that led to a score or anything. 2 for 2 on fourth down for Old Dominion. They were 5 for 15 on third down. Just a bad third down game for everybody, huh? Yeah. Penalties, though, I do like that they are you know cleaning that up because that does make it a little more watchable. I think that goes to the game not being as long either. When it's not having to be stopped all the time. But yeah, so that's what I liked. It's not much. I tried to be positive there. I guess what I still really like is I still really like this team. I still really like all the players. I don't think that was indicative of Jordan McLeod and how he's going to play. I don't think that was indicative of what this defense can do or any of that. I think it was a bad game. I think it showed that this team does need to continue to humble itself a little bit more. It needs to come to earth a little bit with a lot of this. I mean, even when we think back to the team last year, this was a 500 team in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt is a tough place to play. I mean, even I saw it after the Arkansas State game, and I have gone out of my way to not talk about this college football playoff. Now the Bobcats, oh, they could have a chance. I've gone out of my way to not go that far because they got to get through the Sun Belt first. They need to win a Sun Belt Conference championship. Haven't done that yet. Before we start start buying tickets to the college football playoff. It's not there yet. Definitely not there yet. So let's get all that. Let's get that out of the way because they could still win the Sun Belt. They could still do it. They've got the two leaders of the Sun Belt West coming up the next 2 weeks with Louisiana and then ULM the week after. ULM, how about them? That's going to be a good game. That's so this was ODU. This wasn't even the tough part, the gauntlet that's coming up. So need to humble themselves and remember that this is a tough conference, even though there's all these talks about, hey, Pac-12, because even that's popping up again. I didn't start the pod talking about it, but again, more Pac-12 rumblings. It seems like if the more talk of the Pac-12 adding Texas State. So there's more of that out there. So there you go. There's your conference realignment update. It's not much of an update from the last time we talked, except that more people are reporting that the Pac-12, because they can't seem to find anybody else, they're going to go for the Bobcats. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I mean, we talk about all of this, but they haven't even won the Sun Belt Conference yet. So we can't talk about college football playoff. Can't. It's hard for me to get all in on like, yeah, they should elevate and go to a bigger conference, better conference to make more money. It would feel a lot better if they did that with a conference championship under their belt. And it could still be done. I still think this is a conference championship winning team. This is a good team. They got that trap game, the mailbag, people asking about the trap game. Boom, there it was. It was funny. The Wizard sent me a clip from when he did his episode. I don't remember what number it was, the webisode. It was back in August when he and we did some predictions on the season, and we were talking about how the season's going to shake out. He talked about a potential wild card loss for the Bobcats being Sam Houston State. I said I didn't like that. I don't like to hear that because of the rivalry. Let's give it another wild card loss, maybe Old Dominion, because they've got some real salty defenders, as we saw. And they've got they've got not the best team, but they've got some talent there on that squad. And both of those ended up coming true. So I hate that. Hate that for that episode. But even with that, I mean, we've seen this team play down to their opponent. And I feel like we saw that on Saturday. No offense to Old Dominion, pretty good squad with that victory. I don't think they're going to have much more victories throughout the rest of the season. I don't mean to put them on fluke watch, but I am a little bit right there with that win. Um, we've seen them play down like that, but we've also seen them play up. Seen them play up. They're gonna have to play up on Tuesday with Louisiana. They're probably gonna have to play up against ULM because even remember last year that ULM game, 21-20. That was a close game. I'm sure they remember that one. Texas State won that one. On the inverse with the Louisiana game, what was it, 34-30? Yeah, that one they were up 30 to 21. Now I'm remembering it. The Joey Holbert TD in the fourth quarter, up 30 to 21 in that fourth quarter, like 10 minutes left, and they ended up losing that one. So, yes, nice, good slate of games coming up. Next two games, there are a lot of implications in and around the game as far as history between the programs and as far as standings in the Sun Belt. So that one stunk. That was no good. I'm less upset than I was after Sam Houston. I'm still pretty upset that this team was exposed the way they were exposed. But I don't think it's anything that they can't overcome because the problems we saw with Sam Houston with those penalties and everything, if that had persisted, you can't. It's not happening. If you can't fix it, then it's not getting fixed ever. This one, you got out schemed. Can't let it happen again, or you need to know what to do when it happens. Have the plan B ready. All right. That's it. That's enough. I'm tired of talking about it. This is a short episode, so I don't want to talk about Old Dominion anymore. We're going to have a nice Louisiana preview pod coming up for you. I'm gonna try and put that out Sunday or Monday morning because that game's on Tuesday. So we'll have a nice Louisiana one. I'll see if I can work my magic, get a good guest. I think I have a good one in mind. Some of you already know who that is. But this episode was brought to you by TGC, the GalindoCollective.com. That's GALINDO, GalindoCollective.com. A team of professional consultants dedicated to helping others realize their business potential through people, planning, and practice. Their services cover a wide range of areas such as business strategy, marketing, human resources, and financial planning. If you own property or a business and want to maximize its profitability, contact TGC at thegalindocollective.com and follow their social media platforms on Twitter at TGC_LLC and on Instagram and Facebook at the Galindo Collective. Shout out to my guy, Rick Galindo, a true Texas State grad, a Texas State sicko. He's a true grad. No, he's a true Texas State sicko and a Texas State grad. He's been partnering with us since last season, helping us get to Sunbelt Media Day over summer, helping us get through the whole season, and helping us get you to games with our TGC ticket giveaway. We'll be having another one for that Louisiana game on a Tuesday night game. So look out for that one. Probably announce that one on Sunday, Monday. So stay ready. Stay ready for that. Thanks again to the GalindoCollective.com. One more for our guys at Chilzey, CHILLZEY.com. You can get custom tumblers like this great one I'm holding up right now with the Win Now or Get Bent logo. You order 6 or more of these bad boys, punch in Bobcats at the checkout. They're $15 a piece. That's a great deal. But the great thing that we've been doing with them, handing out these koozies. Oh, I handed out some koozies at the watch party as well. That was fun. Doing a lot of spreading the good word. I like that we don't have business cards. We have koozies, but we got a lot of them. You can get custom koozies, any of these that you want on chilsey.com. Or if you find me at a game, shout out Win Now or Get Bent. I'll get you hooked up with these. Thanks to chilsey.com. Thanks to Dennis Redding and his son Bryson, Texas State sickos. I know Dennis is a Texas State grad. Bryson will be one day. Thank you to them for helping us get these koozies to the people. Check them out, everybody. Chilzey.com, CHILLZEY.com. Oh, man. I guess I didn't even mention it that, it's been a few days. Usually I drop the pod a little sooner. It was my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday to my daughter, Jade, 2 years old. Unbelievable. 2 years old. I have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. It's a lot of fun in my house right now. It's good. I say that genuinely. Like they are some goofs. That's for sure. But happy birthday to Jade, 2 years old. And then they were doing a lot of construction right outside on my street for the last couple days. I'm not complaining because they're improving an area that I'm happy they're improving. It's a little spot. I'll walk my dog in this area and stuff, but it's been really loud. And my window in the studio faces the street. So it's been hard to record. So thank you for your patience. I also kind of needed a mental health break after that game. I was like, I need to just stare into my daughter's eyes and not think about the Bobcats for a few days. But no, it's good to jump back in. We'll get back on a good schedule now. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/win now or get bent. Check out our merch site, WNOGB.com. I'm wearing the Sicko shirt. Bang. If you're watching our YouTube channel, Win Now or Get Bent on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. You can see me wearing the Sicko shirt. I love it. The tag on it on the inside of the shirt even says win now or get bent. I love that touch. As I say, it's tag, but there's no tag, just the print where the tag would be. Check us out on Twitter at win now or get bent. Check us out on Instagram at WNOGB. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff anywhere you can. Apple, Spotify. If you're an audio head listening, make sure you give us some good comments and ratings and all that good stuff on there if you can, or a bad rating if you want. If you didn't like this episode, go ahead. It's fine. We need to, it'll humble us. Maybe we need to be humbled like the Bobcats need to be a little bit. Thank you to TGC. Thank you to First Lockhart National Bank, McNabb and Co. And of course, Chilsey. Shout out to the wizard, Zachary Webb, and always making this podcast look great. I know we're going to have another cinematic recap coming out for you. Check out that Arkansas State one, the last one that came out. Some awesome angles from the wizard there. Shout out to Reese Largent, our great intern, clacking away on the Patreon page. I'm excited to watch this game with him on Tuesday. It's always fun to sit with him in the press box and get his perspective. Honestly, I need to get the whole Win Now or Get Bent crew on a pod very soon, because it is, I have a lot of fun when I'm like, gosh, what's going on with this game? And I bounce things off both of them, and they both think of things in a different way. And I'm very appreciative of the group we're building here at Win Now or Get Bent. I feel like we're doing some awesome stuff. We are ascending, and we are ascending because of you. Thanks to all you sickos out there listening, supporting us, always asking where's the pod. I love it. It's nice. It's always it's cool to go out to like Zelix for that watch party. And I had someone like Jude Prather I was talking about. He's a city councilman. He's like, I listen to every episode. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You know, you're a lot more important than me. I'm just a goof with a microphone who loves some Bobcats. But I do appreciate all of y'all, and we're gonna continue to grow and do lots of great things and ascend with these Bobcats, because they're ascending, they're moving up. Forget about that old Dominion loss. It's in the past. It's in the past. We'll move on and we'll move up. That's what's gonna happen. But all right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Win now or get bent.